The line that you all just drew on your scatter plot is what we call a line of best fit. Why? Because it's not a perfect line that will match every data point in the set, but it's the best line that we can draw in order to approximate the data. The whole point of drawing these lines is that you are able to summarize the linear relationship between your data points. For example, your grams of sugar and the calories in pop. You use a line because from a line you will eventually be able to write the equation of the line, and from that equation you can analyze things like the slope and make predictions based on it. Looking at scatter plots and being able to come up with clusters and outliers is very important, but this linear relationship is even more important because it's how we use statistics in order to influence decisions in the real world, especially when it comes to the slope, which in this example is the amount of grams of sugar in your can of pop for every calorie. Okay? Now, your linear relationships will not be perfect. What you want to do is you want to hit the most data points as possible. This example right here goes through this set of 3, this set of 2, is really close to that one, and also close to that one. This was the best example I could do using my computer in order to draw the line of best fit. Some of you might have different lines. That is completely okay. Whatever works best for you and you think is a good approximation of the data points. Now, there are different ways to do it. Most people simply try to hit as many points as possible. You want to make sure, though, that you use a ruler. Should be pretty common sense, but you want your line to be straight, and you don't want your brain to adjust itself to each point, or then you'll end up with a not very linear line. Another method is to connect the first data point, or lowest on the x-axis, with the last data point, or highest on the x-axis. So if I did that here, I would have a line that would go something like this. Okay. That is one way to do it. Obviously, I did not have a big enough yardstick to draw that. But you don't have to do it this way. I would not recommend doing it that way each time. It might work with some data sets, but not with all. I trust your own judgment and your own eye to draw a line that better approximates all of the data points. Because sometimes your last data point and your first data point might be what we talked about last time, big outliers. Okay? After you've drawn your line of best fit, you need to go back, look at it, and use your own brain to judge your line. We're not going to learn a mathematical way to judge it. You will get to that point in high school. What you want to look at is it a good line or is it a bad line? Does a good line mean that it's real straight and you drew it with a ruler? No. It means that it's closest or as close to your data as possible. A bad line is something that has a lot of space or distance between the points. You might have just picked a couple points that you thought it should go through, or you might have drawn a line that you thought better approximates it. Some data sets don't lend themselves to good linear models, and that's why it could be bad. Also, if you drew a line down here like this, I would say that's a pretty bad linear model. You're below all of your data points. You should try your best to get right in the middle of them. That way, you have a better chance of your model approximating the data correctly, so that when we get to making our predictions about pop or people or anything like that, your answer has a better chance of being correct or more legitimate.